And I'm telling you what, right now, Classic Championship Wrestling has been under media attack since Ox Baker, yes, the legendary Ox Baker, the original, won the Battle Royal, the Deadly Drawing Battle Royal at the CCW event in Marion, Ohio on December the 21st, and became the first Classic Championship Wrestling World Champion. So far, Bobo Brazil is knocking on the door heavy. He wants to get a shot at Ox, willing to put up the boots and the coat of his legendary father, Bobo Sr., to get a shot at that title. What an amazing match that would be. We've had calls from all kinds of people. Mr. Wrestling 2 weighed in from Hawaii saying congratulations to Ox. Tugboat, Typhoon, Shockmaster, Fred Ottman has weighed in and congratulated Ox on his title win. And today we're going to talk with one of the legendary voices in the world of wrestling, a man Skyping in, giving his thoughts on the title win of Ox Baker at 79 years of age, which is a Guinness Book of World Records win, oldest person to ever win a championship in wrestling and compete. He was with World Class Championship Wrestling for their entire run. He was their lead announcer. He is Bill Mercer, coming up here on this program now. This is Scott Spears, and on Saturday, December 21st here in Ohio, we had a shocking event in the world of professional wrestling that has caught on. 79-year-old wrestler, legendary wrestler, Ox Baker, won a Battle Royal, over-the-top Battle Royal, to become the first Classic Championship Wrestling World Champion, and in the process became the oldest champion crowned on record, to our knowledge, in United States wrestling history. Joining us today to help us sort all that out is certainly a legendary name in the world of professional wrestling. He's seen them all come through the Texas territory known as World Class Championship Wrestling. His work with the Von Erichs is history-making and historic in the wrestling business, and his career in broadcasting spans many years beyond wrestling. We're so glad to have him here today. He is Bill Mercer. Bill, my God, you don't look any different than you did 30 years ago in the wrestling business.
Well, I appreciate that, Scott, but I did have a little more hair. That's about the main thing that happened. But I am amazed at Ox Baker. When you called and said Ox Baker, I thought, well, he must have died. I had no idea he was a champion. Good gracious. How does he look?
He scary. He looks as scary as he always did, Bill.
He always did look scary, yeah.
Bill, what are your remembrances just as far as this guy who didn't he come in World Class a couple times?
Yes, I recall him. I don't know that I met him enough to say that I know him. But I remember him on the card, as you said, a couple of times. It was probably, it may have been World Class. It may have been earlier than that. But at that time in Texas, we had 2 wrestling venues when World Class came on. And one was produced by Channel 39, and the other by Channel 11 in Fort Worth. So he might have been on one or the other, but that would have been, like one-time showing. But I do remember him, yeah.
When you saw Ox for the first time, the eyebrows, the sheer size of the guy, the mustache.
Ox-like.
Yeah, Ox-like. They named him right. The mustache and his ability in the ring, what did you think?
Gosh, well, that I can't recall, except that as you describe him and as I remember him, he was just an awesome kind of guy, and probably not very quick, but at that time. But maybe he's gotten quicker since he's gotten older. I have not. I've gotten slower, but don't tell about wrestlers.
Bill, a guy like Ox, the story that followed him around all his career, killing two men in the ring with that heart punch, Alberto Torres and Ray Gunkel. When that story follows you, you have to be a pretty big guy. Ray Gunkel.
Yeah, I know him, of him. Yeah, I don't remember that story, Scott, but obviously it was a story, because I have never heard of anybody dying. Well, maybe they just dropped dead of a heart attack in the ring, but not one guy killing both of them. But that's a pretty good crowd pleaser.
Exactly.
Or crowd inducer.
Bill, for a man 79 years of age to get in that ring, win that battle royal, what do you make of that? Just your thoughts on that alone.
Well, how many guys were in the ring?
I believe it was a 15-man battle royal.
Wow. Did they just kind of take him lightly, and just like they were just wrestling with old dad and they didn't want to hurt him or something, and all of a sudden he's tougher than they thought?
Well, I think that underestimation could have played a big part in that.
Yeah. And it's also a pretty good storyline. And it's also, I'm sure the crowds after that, the wrestling fans were just wild.
We hear so much, Bill, certainly there were a lot of tragedies in world class, but all along the wrestling business have seen their share of tragedies. For a guy to still be wrestling at 79 years of age, in my understanding, Guinness Book of World Records, oldest man still active in the United States. How do you do that? That's tough on your body.
Oh, yeah. It's just, I can't think of... Fritz von Erich was a big, tough guy, but cancer got him. They just, just to make it through without having some sort of injury that would disable the guy, or some illness. I had a heart situation back 10 years ago, and I had triple bypass. That, I'm sure that would slow down a wrestler because of the size of them and all that. Yeah, it's an amazing story. It's an amazing feat to even get in the ring and do anything. And I imagine you saw it, I guess.
I was there. Now, of course, at 79, there are no flying head scissors or anything of that nature.
You can't body slam a guy like that.
No, but in his day, I think it would have been difficult to body slam Ox. He's a big guy.
Well, you might need a crane.
Yeah, that's exactly
and help. Yeah. It was pretty hard to body slam guys like Johnny Valentine and Fritz von Erich and Brody. There's a guy I miss. That should never have happened. But some great athletic big guys. Now, not huge, outlandish size like Baker.
When Baker has to defend this title, and by all accounts he is going to do that, how could he win a match? If you're speaking to Ox Baker now, you're a veteran of the wrestling world. When he has to go in one-on-one, and it's not a battle royal anymore, if he wants to keep his hands on this title and keep this story going, how does he do it?
Well, probably all rules are off about not body slamming and all that, because this is a one-on-one championship, and the guy would be at a disadvantage if they can't do something pretty devious with him. I would think all he wants to do is smother the guy. He doesn't want to run. Not like Muhammad Ali said, you can run, but you won't get me. I don't think he's just going to be ham-handed, just pound, and smother. Don't let the guy get loose and do flying kicks or bodies, those debilitating hit kicks to the head or the body. That would be the only thing I can think of. Of course, I haven't seen him move around, so I don't know if he can move at all or how much, but that's an interesting thought, of putting a 79-year-old guy in there. How old's the champion? The other guy.
Well, Ox is the champion, but he'll be facing off with Bobo Brazil Jr., who's the son of legendary Bobo Brazil. Now, I don't know his exact age, but I'm sure Ox has got a couple decades on him, at least.
At least, maybe 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
He could have 3 on him. You know, that's not too bad.
When you're a guy like Ox Baker, as I watched this match, Bill, that he was involved in on December the 21st, he slowed that tempo down. I think he knew you can't do head scissors. You're probably not even going to body slam somebody yourself at 79.
Yeah.
So he slowed that tempo down by jawing with the audience, working the referee to where he could get his shots in.
Uh-huh. I recall Bruiser Brody, who was... who was a huge guy stomping around, but his main thing were these arm bashes that he would come down across somebody, and then we leave out somebody, Andre the Giant, 7 feet tall, however large he was. Nobody I ever saw even tried to pick up Andre. And Andre didn't move very fast, but his size and his strength overcame every other lack of access to speed that he might want. So it might take Andre the Giant as part of the equation to look at and then say, okay, Ox, what can you emulate in that way that pure size will make you a champion? That's going to be hard to do.
Bill, he has taken on a manager, Percival Friend, who was pretty legendary in the world of wrestling, managed people like Black Angus, Harley Race at one point. Does having does having a manager play into Ox's hand?
Sure. Diversion, as you were talking about diversion earlier, when he can get something that he would be a finishing hole that maybe is not quite legal, and the manager can get the referee out of sight and do something strange or jump in the ring or whatever. I think the manager is a key for Ox having any opportunity to win this thing.
You know, Bill, even at 79 years old, Ox, and at 79 you don't move as fast as you did at 39, but...
I understand that.
Yeah, the truth of the...
88 in February, so I don't want to take Ox on either.
Well, that could be the match of the decade. You could break his record.
Yeah, 5'6.5" now, and I've lost a few inches.
But
I would be like a midget wrestler with him.
But the voice is still there.
Yeah, well, I could out-shout him, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. You'll shout him down, which is also a task with Ox Baker because he's got a voice. But, Bill, when you are that age, Ox, he's never lost the ability to do the dirty trick. He's not above carrying something in. Do you see a lot more of that coming in? Would you trust him if you're Bobo Jr.?
Not in a bit. I wouldn't trust him. Always have one of those, your thumb taped with a slice of razor blade in there, or whatever else you can hide in your trunks. He has a full body suit, doesn't he?
Yes, Ox.
Yeah, he can hide stuff. That, and there again, if you have something rather large that you can't hide once you get it out, then he throws it to the manager, and that takes care of that. I wouldn't. If I were the other guy, I'd be very careful in what he can do to your forehead or your head or your body.
Well, Bill, at this point, we don't have the match signed, but the match that's being laid out there, they're trying to get everybody on the same page here, is that Ox will make his first title defense against Bobo Jr. Now, the stipulation here is going to be, obviously, if Ox loses, his title's out the window. But Bobo, to get this match, has put up the wrestling boots and the wrestling jacket of his father, Bobo Sr. That's a real match with impetus.
Man, that's some collateral, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is.
Yeah, that's famous and worth a lot. Well, he's determined. The whole idea is so far-fetched as to be exciting.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I never, I just think back of all the guys that I remember that haven't made it past 60s or something, and try to think of one that slips my mind right now, but that would love to be able at that age to go in there with him if they were still living.
What is it about wrestlers, Bob? Now, 79 is the record right now, but boy, there are still guys, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Gypsy Joe, who we talked about, who went into his 70s. Why do these guys do it for so long?
Money.
Money.
The older they get, and the more, and their ability to avoid things that they would have had fallen into as younger wrestlers. They know what to stay away from. They know how to figure out the other guy better, and they can still do it. And, it's kind of like a quarterback in the NFL. If there's 40 and still been playing, he could come in and do something. Well, just like the Orton guy the other night with the Cowboys. Unfortunately, his career ended with that interception, but he played very well. Now, he's, I don't know how old he is. He must be close to 40, if he's not. They just have the experience and the ability to know when and how to attack or to retreat. So the younger guys are very anxious to make a show for themselves and probably step right into their traps. It's interesting that they can, but in wrestling you can go longer, I think, than most other sports because of the style that kind of emanates from the older ones with less lunging around, running around, and doing all of the heartbreaking sort of things that would cause you to not only lose, but to be permanently disabled.
Bill, do you think there's something to the fact that a younger guy like Bobo Jr. could come into this match and say, hey, this is the oldest world champion, this is going to be a cakewalk? Would that be a smart thing to do?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, Ox was never the most, wasn't the quickest, wasn't the wrestling holds and all that of the pure wrestling. But he's dangerous, and size alone, a destroyer against a battleship.
Exactly right, Bill. Before we get out of here, though, you showed me a great picture earlier on. I want to see this. This is great. This goes back to...
I don't have many remembrances, but this is, let's see, there it is. That's a Wild Bill Irwin. And we had this a promotion thing that we used later anyway. And that's me on his shoulder. And the tagline was, put me down, this is only a part-time job.
I love it, Bill.
This looks great. I talked to him a while back. He's still doing well. But he's not wrestling anymore. He's teaching. That's it.
Bill, what are you doing these days? Are you keeping busy at 88 years of age?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't let wrestlers pick me up on the shoulder anymore because that hurts. But I've done, we're doing some promotion on some of the games, football games that I broadcast, like the Ice Bowl. I do interviews. We just, I was involved in the Kennedy assassination as a reporter with 3 other guys. We've written the book when the news went live. And so I get every year, and particularly the 50th anniversary, we were very heavy into interviews, and my lead author had Skype interviews in Australia, New Zealand, and I think in France too. So the technology has made it better. I also spoke to a class, Roxborough High School, Community High School, Roxborough, North Carolina, 6 classes of history students, which took all day. And it was a really rewarding effort because they did not know all of what was involved. They knew of the Kennedy assassination, but they didn't know all the details. And then I went over to another high school, Riverside, here in Durham, and spoke to their class. I guess the closest thing to doing wrestling again, Scott, is I was in theater while I was doing all my other stuff, you know, community theater and some various things. So I had this itch over here with my son, help, and I'm in a play called Arcadia by Tom Stoppard, and I have a small part of Jellaby, the butler, and I don't have to fall down or tackle anybody, so it's a pretty simple thing for me. You know, being a butler, you don't really get into fisticuffs, but it's a great challenge to use the English accent and to try to be a funny butler in an English play.
How good
we'll
is
see how that works out.
How good is your English accent, Bill?
Well, my boy, I don't really know. I'm trying very hard to, Scotty, is to perfect it. And I may be a little bit off right now, but Ox Baker sounds like a very stupid man at 79 for putting himself in the danger of getting killed in the ring.
Pretty good, Bill. Pretty good, Bill. I have to ask you, though, and we might get into this in depth some other time. Did Oswald, in your opinion, kill Kennedy?
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. I know that you have some people have different ideas, but we've researched this and studied all of it. It's been studied well by probably one of the best ones was by ABC years ago. They recreated the whole thing.
Bill Mercer certainly always has an interesting take on what's going on in the world of wrestling, and we're still hearing from more people. Lou Duva, legendary boxing trainer, weighing in. Bob Cottle, the voice of the NWA, weighing in. I'm telling you what, it was an amazing night. Remember, you've got to stay up to date on this information. Get these videos, get all the information from the Classic Championship Wrestling website by going to Facebook, typing in Classic Championship Wrestling Marion, Ohio, and clicking like. Holy moly, it is going to be an amazing 2014. Will Ox defend the title? If so, will it be against Bobo Jr.? Jacket and boots on the line? Who else could show up? Anybody could show up. It's going to be an amazing year. Bill Mercer, thank you for coming on the program. Everybody weighing in. Holy Moses, who's going to be next? We'll find out. But for now, we got to get out of here. Talk to you soon.